This is NBC 10, WCAU Philadelphia.
Store Show, The Bill Bennett Show, a show for early risers. Join Bill tomorrow at 6:30, WCAU-TV Philadelphia.
Hello there. Arkansas Governor Orville Forbes tonight offered the people of Little Rock a plan.
News gathering technology advanced just as quickly. By 1966, WCAU launched The Big News, an hour-long broadcast with Facenda at the helm. We'd come a long way since the days of the 10-minute headline news, but that's just the beginning of the story. As television changed, so did the times. The Daily Number live tomorrow night at 7.
A commuter nightmare shaping up in the Delaware Valley tonight as another transit strike is threatened, this one designed to shut down the entire Conrail commuter system. And as the surviving victims of the Canary Islands plane disaster head back to the United States, some startling information tonight on the possible cause of the crash, which claimed 575 lives.
Word is tonight that a major Delaware Valley department store may be shutting down for good. Meanwhile, the Kensington section of Philadelphia cheers its hero, and screaming fans at the Spectrum cheer on the Flyers in a must-win game with the Islanders tonight. A minicam report coming up.
This is News 10 from the newsroom with Ralph Penza and Joan Dinnerstein.
Good evening. A city with...
This gruesome scene is where 8 Americans died trying to rescue their countrymen held hostage in Iran.
This is the TV 10 News with Terry Ruggles and the TV 10 News team.
Good evening. Tonight's big story on the TV 10 News.
Larry Kane, Alan Frio, Herb Clark, and Al Meltzer, the award-winning Channel 10 News team. Now, Channel 10 News, live at 5. Good evening, everyone. Larry Kane, Deborah Knapp, Herb Clark, and Al Meltzer, the award-winning Channel 10 News team. Now, Channel 10 News, live at 5.
WCAU-TV, Channel 10, Philadelphia. Larry Kane, Steve Levy, Herb Clark, Al Meltzer. The Channel 10 News, 6 o'clock report.
Good evening. There is a new twist in the case of the Vicki Morgan.
Larry Kane, Deborah Knapp, Jim Kelly, and Herb Clark. The Channel 10 News, live at 11.
Good evening. A suspected IRA gun runner, twice convicted of murder and wanted by police nationwide, is under arrest in Philadelphia tonight.
Larry Kane, Deborah Knapp, Herb Clark, and Joe Pellegrino. The Channel 10 News, live at 11.
Good evening. We are now less than 4 weeks from Election Day, and tonight...
Terry Ruggles, Linda Wright Avery, Herb Clark with weather, and Hugh Gannon with Sports Extra. The Channel 10 News, live at 11.
Good evening. The Delaware Valley is still in shock tonight over the death of television personality Jim O'Brien.
I'm Chuck Stone. Welcome to Daybreak. The recent publicity involving the Westmoreland libel suit against CBS, the Sharon libel suit against Time magazine, as well as the Washington Post story.
Larry Kane, Alan Frio, Herb Clark, and Al Meltzer, the award-winning Channel 10 News team. Now, Channel 10 News, live at 5.
Good evening, everyone. Right now, Philadelphia.
Channel 10, Philadelphia. Larry Kane, Deborah Knapp, Herb Clark, and Joe Pellegrino, the award-winning Channel 10 News team. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening. We have a breaking story tonight as a...
Channel 10, Philadelphia.
Good evening, everybody, and this is the way it is this Friday night.
10 News. Next.
Channel 10, Philadelphia.
Good evening, everyone, and this is the way it is right now.
Channel 10, Philadelphia.
Good evening, and this is the way it is tonight. Hurricane Gilbert has gained strength and is now classified as a killer storm, and it is packing a terrible wallop, too.
Channel 10, Philadelphia.
Channel 10, Philadelphia. Larry Kane, Herb Clark, and Al Meltzer. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening. A new dimension on the war on drugs in South Jersey.
Diane Allen, Alan Frio, Terry Ruggles, and Al Meltzer. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening. It was a cross.
Channel 10, Philadelphia. Larry Kane, Diane Allen, Herb Clark, and Al Meltzer. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening.
Channel 10, Philadelphia. Larry Kane, Diane Allen, Herb Clark, and Al Meltzer. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening, everyone. There's been trouble in Westchester tonight.
Channel 10, Philadelphia. Steve Levy, Stephanie Stahl, Terry Ruggles, and Ron Burke. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening, and this is the way it is. There are 16 days left in Campaign 88, and the
WCAU-TV 10, serving the Delaware Valley. Live. Larry Kane, Al Meltzer, and Herb Clark. Now, Channel 10 News.
Good evening. One man has now been arrested in the boycott of a Korean-owned steak shop in southwest Philadelphia.
Live. Larry Kane, Al Meltzer, Herb Clark, Jane Robolov, and the Channel 10 News team.
Good evening. Our top story at this hour.
WCAU-TV 10, Philadelphia, serving King of Prussia. Live. Larry Kane, Diane Allen, Al Meltzer, and Herb Clark. Now, Channel 10 News update.
Good evening. The city of Philadelphia is going to pay $1 million price for its continued...
WCAU-TV 10, Philadelphia. Live. Larry Kane, Diane Allen, Herb Clark, Ron Burke, and the Channel 10 News team.
Going after short dumpers in the city of Philadelphia.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Larry Kane, Jane Robolov, Herb Clark Weather, Al Meltzer Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Larry Kane.
And I'm Meg Grant.
Our top story tonight from Montgomery County.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Larry Kane, Diane Allen, Herb Clark Weather, Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Diane Allen.
And I'm Larry Kane. Our top story tonight.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Larry Kane, Jane Robolov, Herb Clark Weather, and Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Jane Robelo.
And I'm Larry Kane.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Larry Kane, Jane Robelo, Herb Clark Weather, and Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Kane. This is Channel 10 special election night coverage tonight.
And I'm Jane Robelo. Our top story tonight is enough.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Ken Matz, Jane Robelo, Herb Clark Weather, and Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening. I'm Ken Matz.
And I'm Jane Robelo. Our top story tonight.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Meg Grant, Team Train Weather, Dave Colbrook Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Meg Grant, and our top story tonight, Philadelphia Police Chief Willie Williams has his bags packed for Los Angeles tonight.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Renee Chenault, Tim Lake, and John Polaris Weather. This is Channel 10 News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Lake.
And I'm Renee Chenault.
And our top story this noon on
Things for your home for next to nothing. The stories now on the Channel 10 News.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Ken Matz, Jane Robelo, Herb Clark Weather, and Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Jane Robelo.
And I'm Ken Matz.
Our top story tonight,
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Ken Matz, Jane Robelo, Herb Clark Weather, and Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Jane Robelo.
And I'm Arthur Fennell in tonight for Ken Matz.
Our top
is definitely more when it comes to the cost of your next swimsuit.
Today you'll learn how to help your pets cope with that sweltering heat out there.
And the day Channel 10's exclusive Earth Watch tells you how long this heat is going to last.
These stories now on the Channel 10 News.
WCAU-TV. Now, Arthur Fennell, Janet Zapala, Al Meltzer Sports, and John Valeris with exclusive Earth Watch weather. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Janet Zapala.
And I'm Arthur Fennell.
Top stories as we go on the air tonight. Here at home, the Delaware Valley stories now on the Channel 10 News.
WCAU-TV. Now, Arthur Fennell, Janet Zapala, Al Meltzer Sports, and John Valeris with exclusive Earth Watch weather. This is Channel 10 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Arthur Fennell.
And I'm Siani Lee in tonight for Janet.
And as we go on the air tonight, we have two top stories heating up for you.
WCAU-TV.
Sunday, November 13th, 1994. The night a witness to a teenager's murder revealed there were no racial overtones in the attack.
The night a family fights for its life after a car and tractor-trailer collide.
The night a major airline blasts a report that calls its safety record into question.
And the night we take you behind the scenes of tonight's miniseries Scarlet. These stories now on the Channel 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Siani Lee.
And I'm Tim Lake. Good evening.
Our top story tonight, a murder investigation into the death of a Philadelphia teenager takes...
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Diane Allen, Arthur Fennell, John Polaris Weather, Al Meltzer Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Tonight, autopsy results are pending after the sudden death of a basketball player at a Philadelphia high school.
10 News.
WCAU-TV Philadelphia. Now, Ken Matz, Jane Robelo, Herb Clark Weather, and Ron Burke Sports. This is Channel 10 News.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dream season continues. Good evening, I'm Jane Robelo.
And I'm Ken Matz.
Live from the NewsCenter, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, Tim Lake, Siani Lee, and John Valeris with our exclusive Earth Watch forecast. NewsCenter 10.
And good afternoon, I'm Janet Zapala.
And I'm Sherry Bank. Tim and Siani are off today.
And our top story this noon, the widening probe into police corruption and the possibility...
Tuesday, April 4th, 1995, the day the Bruins' hometown is reduced to ruins.
The day two of the world's most famous gymnasts show up in the Delaware Valley.
And the day striking SEPTA drivers take rush hour down into low gear.
These stories are now on NewsCenter 10.
Live from the NewsCenter, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, Janet Zapala, Arthur Fennell, Al Meltzer Sports, and John Valeris with our exclusive Earth Watch forecast. NewsCenter 10.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Arthur Fennell.
And I'm Janet Zappala.
And here's our top story tonight. Wednesday, April 5th, 1995, the day the O.J. Simpson judge is targeted by an alleged racial slur from a U.S. senator.
The day the Phillies hit the field together for the first time in 8 months.
And today you'll meet the first amphibious TV couch potato.
The stories now on NewsCenter 10.
Live from the News Center, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, Janet Zappala, Arthur Fennell, Al Meltzer Sports, and John Boleris with our exclusive Earthwatch forecast, News Center 10.
And good evening, I'm Janet Zappala.
And I'm Arthur Fennell.
Our top story tonight.
This is News Center 10.
Good evening, I'm Renee Chenault.
And I'm Ken Matz. Happy 4th of July.
Live, this is News Center 10.
Good evening, I'm Luann Kahn, and our top story tonight, Heat Watch 95.
Sunday, March 5th, 1995. The night this baby lies alone in the hospital while police search for his missing parents. The night a $1 million racing yacht snaps and sinks. The night the bank that went belly up gets a new lease on life. And the night a high roller scores a record jackpot in Atlantic City. These stories now on News Center 10.
Live from the News Center, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, Siani Lee, Phi Sigma Hema Sports, and Bill Henley with our exclusive Earthwatch forecast, News Center 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Siani Lee. Our top story tonight.
This is
You're watching NBC.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Premier Edition.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Renee Chenault.
And I'm Ken Matz, and you are watching History in the Making. Channel 10, a landmark in Philadelphia broadcasting, has just become NBC 10.
That's right. Just seconds ago, ownership of this TV station transferred from CBS to NBC.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Today at 5:30.
Today, Philadelphia...
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Today.
And this is 30th Street Station live during the blizzard of 96.
This is News 10 Today.
And good morning to you. It's 6:25. Our report on the blizzard of 96. A police car going down the street, one of the few cars allowed on the streets of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Midday.
Good morning, I'm Steve Levy.
And I'm Connie Cola.
And a top story for you on News 10 this midday. We're on the strike watch once again.
And now, News 10 continues.
Our top story at 11:30, no school.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 5. You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 11.
Man thinks he's tamed nature.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 5.
A news helicopter crashes just after takeoff at Penn's Landing. Tonight, federal aviation officials are in town to find out just what happened. Good evening. I'm Tracy Davidson.
And I'm Arthur Fennell. That's our top story.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 6.
And good evening, I'm Ken Matz.
And I'm Tracy Davidson, in for Renee Chenault.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 11.
With summer still a month away, a case of early heat hits the Philadelphia region. Scorching temperatures to begin the week with possibly a higher mercury reading for tomorrow. Good evening, I'm Ken Matz.
And I'm Renee Chenault.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Sunday.
One college student is dead after falling from his dorm room window. And
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Sunday.
There he
Tonight, eccentric millionaire John DuPont is behind bars, captured in a peaceful end to a tense two-day standoff at his Delaware County estate.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 11. You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 Today Weekend.
Today, police catch up with Mark Canty, the third suspect.
This is News 10 Today Weekend.
Good morning and welcome back to News 10 Today Weekend. I'm John Blunt.
I'm Luann Kahn. It's 9:30.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10, serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
and Delaware.
Now live.
This is News 10.
Today.
Investigators looking into the death of a man whose arm...
You're watching
Philadelphia's NBC 10.
Serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey,
and Delaware.
Now live. This is News 10 Today.
That scepter strike postponed for a week now.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now live, News 10 Today continues.
A police imposter stopped a woman on the Blue Route over this weekend.
You're watching
Philadelphia's NBC 10, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
Now live.
This is News 10, first at 4.
A Virginia courtroom becomes the playing field for sportscaster Marv Albert as a jury begins hearing the sexual assault case against him. Good afternoon. I'm Renee Chenault.
And I'm Larry Menti.
You're watching
Philadelphia's NBC 10, serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
and Delaware.
now live.
This is News 10,
First at 4.
News 10 First at 4 starts now.
You're watching
Philadelphia's NBC 10,
serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey, and Delaware.
now live. This is News 10 First at 4.
Our first winter storm has been...
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10,
Serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
now live. This is News 10, first at 4.
Bucks County State Rep Tom Druce is headed for jail.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10,
Serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
and Delaware. Now live. This is News
10 First at 4.
If he accepts them, force will not be necessary.
You're watching
Philadelphia's NBC 10,
Serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey, and Delaware. Now live.
This is
News 10 First at 4.
The Jersey and Delaware shores take a powerful pounding at places in Philadelphia.
You're watching News 10 at 5.
You're watching
Philadelphia's
NBC 10,
serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
and Delaware.
now live
This is News 10.
at 6.
Monica Lewinsky tries to dodge the cameras in Washington today as big news emerges. A judge ruled evidence related to Lewinsky may not be used in the Paula Jones trial. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Matt.
And I'm Kathy Egan.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now live, this is News 10 at 6.
They say some like it hot, but come on, this extreme heat is causing the temperature to rise into some...
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
Now live.
This is News 10
At 11.
Tonight, a woman's body is found in a car, and police are investigating.
The mystery of a missing woman may be solved in South Jersey. Good evening, I'm Larry Menti.
And I'm Renee Chenault.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10, serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware.
Now live, this is News 10
At 11.
Damaging new evidence is revealed in the Eddie Warner murder case.
And it turns out the suspect will be forced to face the charges like a man. Good evening, I'm Larry Menti.
And I'm Renee Chenault.
This is News 10 at 11.
Winter storm Ernie barrels into the Philadelphia region.
This is News 10 at 11.
New tonight, a runaway tractor-trailer accident just turned deadly. Story.
This is News 10 at 11.
As we go on the air tonight, people in local communities are in danger from rising floodwaters.
You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10, serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey, and Delaware.
Now live.
This is News 10
At 11.
From Delaware to Pennsylvania to New Jersey,
This is NBC 10 News Today.
And today, snowed in, it says.
This is NBC 10 News at 4.
A frozen Friday in the Delaware Valley.
This is NBC 10 News at 6.
Tonight, calming the fear as America stands on alert.
This is NBC 10 News at 11.
As we go on the air tonight,
This is NBC 10 News Today.
Good Monday morning. I'm Dawn Timoney, and we're off to a rather damp and dreary start this morning, Bill.
This is NBC 10 News at 4.
Look at this. At least 2 tornadoes at 6 starts right now.
This is NBC 10 News at 6.
This is NBC 10 News Today.
It is 5:59, and coming up over the weekend, deadly waves swept the Jersey Shore. We have a live report.
This is NBC 10 News Today.
2 swimmers are dead, another missing this Sunday morning after...
This is NBC 10 News Today.
A Philadelphia man has been charged with murder in connection with a deadly armor.
This is NBC 10 News Today.
New this morning, for the second time this year, guests are forced to evacuate a Lehigh County hotel after a reported carbon monoxide leak.
This is NBC 10 Live at Issue.
Live at Issue, Sunday, July 13th, 2008. The race for the White House, follow the money. John McCain and Barack Obama, 2 different money paths to the presidency. Campaign finance, how will it play out? Who will exploit the law? Whose money will win? Today on Live at Issue. Good morning, I'm Steve Highsmith. This morning, the stumbles, warning signs, and positives for Obama and McCain this week. Renee Moore and Donna Gentile O'Donnell are standing by. But first, 6 weeks to the start of the Democratic National Convention. What do we know of the money?
This is NBC 10 News at 4.
Our top story today, and right, Doug, we're certainly on. I'm Tim Lake. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, we are. I'm Renee Chenault. NBC 10 News at 6 o'clock starts right now.
This is NBC 10 News at 6. Now, live, NBC 10 News at 11.
We begin tonight with a developing story.
This is NBC 10 News Today.
NBC 10 News at 4, and HD starts now.
This is NBC 10 News at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dawn Timoney.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Lake. Our top story today.
This is NBC 10 News at 7. Now, live, this is NBC 10 News at 11.
Tonight, here we go again. More.
This is NBC 10 News.
And it's about to get turned up a notch.
Now, live, NBC 10 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tim Lake.
And I'm Renee Chenault-Fatah. Our top story tonight.
This is NBC 10 News. This is NBC 10 News.
It's time to bring out the food.
This is NBC 10 News.
Right now at 11.
This is NBC 10 News.
We're not going home without a victory.
This is NBC 10 News.
We're following a developing story in South Philadelphia.
NBC 10 News starts now.
Tonight at 11:30, a messy end to the week. The first alert radar is tracking fog, severe thunderstorms, and strong winds.
A mother dead inside a car for at least 10 days. NBC 10 uncovers a new twist in how a missing woman was overlooked so many times.
Track trouble. NBC 10 asks what's being done to stop explosions like these from happening on our rails.
Good evening. I'm Jacqueline London.
And I'm Jim Rosenfield. Back.
This is NBC 10 Breaking News.
Thank you, New Jersey!
From the president himself.
Social media danger.
NBC 10 News starts now.
Everybody's in a good mood this morning. Good morning. You're watching NBC 10 News Today. I'm Erin Coleman.
Good morning, Erin. I'm Keith Jones. Let's get right on over to NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley with your First Alert neighborhood forecast. Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Keith. Hey, we're starting off with a few showers, but we're...
NBC 10 News starts now.
We're all smiles here this Monday morning.
Finally.
You are watching NBC 10 News Today. I'm Erin Coleman.
Good morning, Erin. I'm Keith Jones. Let's get right on over to...
NBC 10 News starts now.
Good Monday morning. We're all smiles here this morning. You are watching NBC 10 News Today. I'm
NBC 10 News starts now.
20 minutes of nonstop news begins with a new political battle just weeks before the November election. The death of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the push to fill her seat.
NBC 10 News starts now.
First at 6, major developments in all 3 states when it comes to testing.
NBC 10 News starts now.
First at 7, an extra $600 a week for unemployment.
NBC 10 News starts now.
First tonight at 11, he didn't know what hit him. A teenager tells NBC 10 he walked away from this crash without a scratch. He was hit head-on by a driver leading police on a wild wrong-way chase on I-95 today. This is video you will only see on NBC 10. Good evening. I'm Jacqueline London.
And I'm Jim Rosenfield.
NBC 10 News starts now.
Easy here, folks. If you could hear what we were saying at our desk. But let's talk about first what went wrong. We're getting those answers over the next hour. Thank you so much for staying with us here. I'm Keith Jones.
And I'm Erin Coleman. A heartbreaker in South.
NBC 10 Breaking News.
A fourth wave. COVID cases on the rise in all 50 states now.
There's a heated debate over mask mandates and if they need to come back.
And share the road. MLK Drive has surged in popularity during the pandemic for runners and bikers. So today, the city is announcing when the cars come back.
And preparing for launch later this morning, the world's richest man will ride his own rocket into space. How he and his crew are feeling ahead of their historic voyage to the stars.
NBC 10 News starts now.
Good morning. You're watching NBC 10 News today. I'm Erin Coleman.
And I'm Lucy Bustamante. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday. Let's get right over to NBC 10 meteorologist Bill Henley with your first alert forecast. We got a hot one on the books.
Yes, nice sunshine will be nice and bright, and a quick warm up this morning.
Right now at 4, emergency landing. Drivers get quite a surprise when a plane touches down on a bridge at the Jersey Shore.
Fighting for 15, workers in one part of our area are about to get a boost in their pay.
Rising from the ashes, we have an exclusive look inside the efforts to rebuild the historic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris.
NBC 10 News starts now.
20 minutes of nonstop news begins with a summer spike. A nationwide COVID resurgence is impacting all 50 states and causing concerns at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. And now,
tonight on NBC 10 News at 11, lucky landing. A teen pilot finds a way to make an emergency touchdown on a 2-lane bridge. Why experts say this feat is a miracle.
Plus, age is nothing but a number. Meet the 84-year-old Philadelphia man who was able to pull a woman from a flipped car.
And the pricey race to space. What makes Jeff Bezos' journey away from Earth unlike any other?
NBC 10 News starts now.
First at 11, to mask up or not. It's a debate we're familiar with reignited tonight as the dangerous Delta variant drives up cases across the country. You're watching NBC 10 News at 11. I'm Jacqueline London.
And I'm Jim Rosenfield. The spark that relit this conversation, new face covering recommendations for your children.
NBC 10 breaking news.
that breaking news right now. Team USA says.
This is Channel 10, WCAU-TV, Philadelphia.